the consequences will be grave. I'm totally the opposite of a Malthusian. I'm kind of more of a yes we can kind of guy. But there are some facts worth pointing out. Within 30 years, if not sooner, the Earth will have half as many people as it does today. That's 9 billion. That bullet's out of the gun. That's going to happen. Long before that, though, possibly within 20 years, world food demand will have doubled. The Green Revolution largely bypassed Africa, and people in many countries there are actually getting poorer. But something sort of surprising has happened throughout much of the rest of the developing world. Success itself has placed unbearable new burdens on the food supply. Agrarian societies have traditionally consumed little meat. But in China and other Eastern nations, where income has been growing rapidly, that is no longer true. In India, 65% of people. Wow, I didn't print. This is so cool. Okay, I'm going to make this page up because I didn't print it up. So in India, 65% of people live in cities now. Lots still live on the farm. But the ones who live in cities, they want food, and they want meat, and they want to eat like the West. And that requires endless amounts of land and agriculture and water, and it's very, very demanding on the environment. And we can say, gee, you shouldn't eat meat. But it's really kind of arrogant and horrible for us to say that to them, because we despoil the earth. We're really incredibly good at it. So these things matter, and taking vitamins, all these things matter. You know, people who say taking vitamins is a victimless crime, it's not a victimless crime. Look at South Africa. If you take vitamins and you pretend that vitamin supplements are the same as drugs, then what happens is eventually some guy comes along and he listens to Peter Duesberg, and he tells his people, and forces his people to take garlic, beetroot, and lemon oil for their disease, HIV, and he kills hundreds of thousands of them. That's what happened in South Africa. If you don't think it can happen somewhere else, you're dreaming. And, you know, why is this happening and what can we do about it? Well, I think one real reason it's happening is that as we get more powerful and we get more capable, we also get more anxious about our place in the firmament. I think it was Paul Sappho, who's a futurist, who told me this, but it's true even if he said it. I think 100 years ago, if you sat in a room and you looked at the things around your room, you would understand what those things are. You might have made some of those things. You'd know how they work. Probably all of them. These days, if you sit in my room and you're me, I don't know how my face gets beamed to India for some chat. I don't know. I mean, I sort of know, but I don't really know. I don't know how my carburetor works. I don't know how my TV works. I don't know. Maybe all you guys know all that stuff and you're electrical geniuses, but I don't. And I think that for many people, I'm fine with it, by the way, thanks. But I think for many people, it creates this sort of churning loss of control, and they feel like the world's moving so fast, and all the things they're reliant on are things they don't control, and they don't understand, and they want something simpler. And simpler is the good old days, though there weren't any good old days, because everyone died at the age of 30 of horrible infections. But, not last week, but you know, a while ago. And I think that is a real problem, and I don't totally know how to deal with that except to start talking about these issues and to start educating people better. For us, I think we're a little lofty and condescending as journalists. I think we need to get way more involved. I was raised in the tradition of you report a story, you talk to both sides. You don't talk to one side because that's unfair. I was once writing a story about AIDS, and there was this lunatic guy named Dannemeyer who was a representative from Southern California who felt that AIDS was visited on Americans by evil, homosexuals who were bad people. And there was some important story, and I can't remember what it was, and my boss was at 6 o'clock, and he said, "Are you done with the story?" And I said, "I am, but I didn't get Dannemeyer on the phone yet." And he says, "You know, there aren't two sides to every story." And it was coming from him, that was a big deal. But really, there aren't. There are two sides. There are 7 sides to lots of stories. But some stories don't have more than one side. And I think we need to get involved. I think we need to figure out where we stand on issues. I'm sorry, but I think it's time to sort of get out of this on the one hand, other hand approach to the news. It isn't working. It isn't working for our readers. It isn't working for us. And we need to wield the facts, not preach them. We can't hype them. We can't speak down. We have to use comparisons. Every number means something. When people say there's a risk of death, I mean, is it a big risk? Is it a small risk? You know, I saw someone at a cocktail party recently, and she was pregnant, and she had said something to me about the flu vaccine, because she saw that I'd written something about it, and I was generally kind of pro. And she said, well, I'm not getting the flu vaccine. And I said, why is that, since you're pregnant, and I think you really should? She said, because I feel fine. She's a smart person. I mean, these are things we really actually have to combat, and I think we kind of can. I think we have to remember that when we talk about vaccines, you know, I was stunned. I wrote this chapter about vaccines in my book, and it was about autism and measles. I was stunned that when the book came out, H1N1 became something where 40% of American adults said they weren't going to vaccinate themselves or their children. And the reasons they gave were amazing. It's a new vaccine. It's not, it's the same vaccine they always give. The only difference is that virus came up a little later this season.